while doing her PhD Agriculture Extension in Indian Agriculture Research Institute, IARI, New Delhi, she got selected for the Agriculture Research Service, ARS, and is posted at National Research and Ron Equans, NRCE, and Hisar, Haryana. In 2017, she has represented TNA in the Science Forum conducted by Japan Science and Technology, JST, at University of Tokyo. She has cleared ARS net in Agriculture Extension and UGC net in Adult Education in 2018. Received G. Ranganathan Award for the Best Outgoing MSc Agri Student in Agricultural Extension by the TNAU, Coimbatore in 2018. Ms. Anna Raj also published 7 research papers and 4 abstracts in various conferences and seminars, and her research interests include impact analysis of different agricultural extension approaches and gender analysis. Today, she will be presenting about something on Women Empowerment Index in Cassava, an innovative tool for gender mainstreaming. Ms. Anna Raj, can you start your presentation?
Respected Agricultural Extension Fraternity and managed international conference organizers, welcome you all to my research paper presentation titled Women's Empowerment Index in Cassava, an innovative tool for gender mainstreaming. Discrimination is prevalent in many sectors. Gender discrimination is defined as the belief that one gender is treated less well than the other gender, which may be reflected in different payment for the same good or services, different career or job opportunities, different financial opportunities, etc. In the case of agriculture, gender discrimination is ubiquitous. In a study conducted by Cassava Agri-Science in 2018, it was found that gender discrimination in agriculture is around 52% in the United States and 78% in India, which is the highest across the countries. The Economic Survey of India reported that Indian agriculture is getting more feminized owing to the migration of rural men from villages to urban areas. Most of the time, the agricultural work carried out by women is not recognized, and hence women are often referred as invisible workers in agriculture. In the FAO report of 2011, it can be seen that the female share of agricultural labor force is increasing greatly in the developing countries of South Asia, North Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa from 1980. When we see the feminization of agriculture across the states, except the states of Kerala and West Bengal, all other states are following the national trend of increased feminization. That is, more percentage of women are employed in agriculture. The percentage decrease of agricultural laborer among women is 17%, and the percentage decrease of agricultural laborers among men is 25%, which is higher than the women's share. Oxfam International reported that women do 80% of farm work but own only 13% of agricultural land available in India. Normally, women work in 3 areas in agriculture. First is paid laborers, which constitutes around 55%, and the second is cultivator doing labor on their own land or land taken on lease, which is around 24%, and managers of certain aspects of agricultural production. Mostly women are involved in post-production, that is post-harvest activities and value addition activities. When we hear the term gender mainstreaming, it refers to only women. But in actual sense, gender mainstreaming is a strategy for making women's as well as men's concerns and experiences an integral dimension of the design, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the policies in all the spheres so that both men and women benefit equally. The ultimate goal of gender mainstreaming is gender equality, which is our 5th sustainable development goal. This gender mainstreaming aims at reducing the number of unequal social and institutional structures, thereby improving the degree of more equalized social and institutional structures. The major principles of gender mainstreaming are, the first one is monitoring and evaluation. That is establishment of a strong mechanism for monitoring and evaluation within any project or program cycle. And the second principle is collaboration. That is collaboration between organizations to share statistical data, best practices and policies of gender mainstreaming. And the third principle is participation. That is incorporation of women's perspectives at all levels of decision making, right from planning till execution. And the next principle is capacity building, that is updating the knowledge of staff to address gender inequalities. Then gender budgeting, the fifth principle, analyzing the actual expenditure and revenue on women as compared to expenditures on men. And gender analysis, that is analyzing the situation of both men and women, the relation between them. And last but not the least, the most important principle is innovative tools. Gender analysis should be carried out by using different innovative tools to understand the situation of women in agriculture. One such tool is Women's Empowerment in Agriculture Index. This Women's Empowerment in Agriculture Index was launched by IFPRI and Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative along with USA in 2012. It is an aggregate index which was constructed by calculating the weighted averages of two sub-indices, that is 5DE, 5 domains of empowerment, and the second sub-index is GPI, Gender Parity Index. So this index comprises of 90% of 5DE and 10% of GPI. This index is customized for the cassava farmers and renamed as Women's Empowerment Index in Cassava for this research study. And in this index, the 5DE denotes the absolute terms of women's empowerment and GPI denotes the empowerment level of women relative to their male counterparts. And this 5DE is again categorized into 10 indicators under the 5 domains. And the indicators are input in productive decisions, autonomy in production, ownership of assets, purchase, sale or transfer of assets, access to and decisions on credit, control over use of income, group membership, speaking in public, workload, leisure time, and all these indicators are given with different weightages. And the methodology adopted for this study is the research design is ex post facto and survey design, and the Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu was selected for the study owing to its sizable area under cassava cultivation, that is around 1,400 hectares, and this district also has a positive sex ratio of more than around 1,019 females for 1,000 males, and the sample size fixed was around 100 respondents, that is 50 female and 10 male respondents, and the female and male respondents are belonging to the same households. 3 blocks were selected out of the 9 blocks. The first block is the with largest area, and the next 2 blocks with smallest areas. And regarding sampling design, judgmental sampling was adopted for selection of blocks, and proportionate sampling for allocation of respondents to each block, selected blocks, and snowball sampling for identification of respondents. For data collection, a 2-point scale was developed covering the 10 indicators for data collection, and the analytical part for the sub-index 5DE, 5 domains of empowerment. First, the disempowered headcount ratio was calculated, which was around 28%, and the average inadequacy score of disempowered individuals was calculated, which was around 61%, and the disempowerment index M0 among women respondents was 0.17, and finally the 5DE value is 0.83. And when we are decomposing this 5DE value for each indicators, we can see that women are more empowered in the indicator of purchase, sale or transfer of assets, because this is mainly due to the increased literacy level and awareness among the women of this study area. And when we see the empowerment level of men, men are more empowered in the indicator control over use of income. This control over use of income is very limited among women, since women are considered as financially illiterate. Hence, we can see that women have very less empowerment when compared to their male counterparts in the indicators of access to and decisions on credit and control over use of income. So, after this analysis, 2 things can be done. Either we have to exploit the indicators in which the women are already empowered, or the second thing we can do is empowering the women in the indicators in which they lack empowerment. The primary thing we can do is exploiting the empowerment level of women in the indicators of group membership and time. And the secondary policy intervention which can be done is conducting financial literacy program and making them aware about the agricultural credit and insurance policies of government. Comes to the second sub-index, gender parity index. First, the proportion of gender parity inadequate households among the total respondents is around 32%, and the average empowerment gap is 69% among the households, and the gender parity index value is 0.78. Thus, we got the women empowerment index in Cassava value around 0.82. In this table, when we compare the empowerment levels of women and men, the empowered headcount among women is 28%, slightly higher than men, and the average inadequacy score is for women is again it is slightly higher than men, and the disempowerment index is more or less same, and the WEIC value is 82%. That is, the women are empowered at around 82%, which is considerably a better value when we see the earlier studies conducted in other countries like Bangladesh and Uganda. And this gender sensitized cassava farming model was developed by conducting focus group discussion among the women respondents. And while developing this model, two things were considered, like two indicators. One is the leisure time available among the women farmers, and the second is group membership among women farmers, because more than 90% of the women farmers are having membership in any self-help groups or any farmer interest group. So these two indicators are exploited for constructing this model. First, the input, if we are giving the input as formation of cassava farmers interest groups, and with the activities of starting a custom hiring center, supply of planting materials on priority basis, collective preparation of organic inputs for soil and crop management, then the tangible output which we will get is regular supply of planting materials and critical inputs to the women farmers in their village itself, and the intangible output which we may get is regular production of cassava, then demand-driven farmer field schools in the villages, then symbiosis mechanism for knowledge sharing among the women farmers. And if we are giving the input as restructuring the self-help groups, that is already existing self-help groups in which the women farmers are members, then the activities which has to be undertaken are establishment of village level cassava sales points, formation of joint level liability groups to avail loans for the purchase of machineries, equipments, etc. Then capacity building on processing and value addition. The tangible output which we may get is value added products of cassava, and the intangible output will be processing unit for value addition, demand and supply registry, like how much is the demand and supply of for cassava in a village, then establishment of cold storage when the farmers are having bumper production, and plan of action for gender sensitized agricultural extension advisory services. What a researcher can do to contribute for gender mainstreaming. Developing short duration crops for financial security among women, then biofortified crops for nutritional security can be introduced. Then documentation and validation of indigenous technical knowledge, which are followed by women farmers. Then specialized farm tools and equipments can be developed to reduce the drudgery of women. Development of localized crop-specific extension models for each region or zones can be done. Then any impact studies should have its output or results in terms of gender disaggregated data. Then what an extension professional can do to contribute for gender mainstreaming. First is village-based participatory training programs can be conducted. Then raising awareness about the success of women farmers from other regions. Conducting friendly demonstrations in the farmlands owned by women is also very important. Then augmented checklist for agriculture awards and recognition, because most of the checklist like scoring pattern currently followed for this Krishi Awards are not having a balanced or weighted averages by including women in the checklist. Then restructuring farm publications with live information. All farm magazines or farm publications, when publishing, should have the live information in the sense the all complete address and contact details of the success stories which are published, so that the women can contact them easily. Then use of ICT tools to compensate for lack of mobility. Most of the time, women lack the freeness to move from their villages to outside places. So this lacuna can be met by using ICT tools, inclusive organizational frameworks for women farmers. Then policymakers can do empowerment of women through land and ownership rights, special financial assistance for farm-based women self-help groups, then tenure security of agricultural land to women, then strengthening of credit or insurance facilities for women with low interest, then bridging wage gap in agriculture sector. Special training programs has to be conducted for women, and also inclusive women has to be included in other training programs also. So ending gender inequity in this 21st century is not just the right thing to do, it is the smartest and easy thing to do. And this research study was undertaken at the Section of Social Sciences, CTCRA Thiruvananthapuram. And thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to present this small study in this platform. Thank you, Nadu.
Yeah, thank you, Anaraj, for a very interesting presentation and women empowerment. It is some of the figures are striking, like closing gender gap. It will take something like 100 to 150 million people, even though it is 2011 data, but still it is very much relevant. Of inputs from your study, and it is last so many years or decades we are talking about gender mainstreaming, and it is not only making women responsible or male, and taking all together and making it very interesting. And any questions for there is some question, how much share of female for dairy farming, or somebody is asking something related to dairy farming. How much share of female for dairy farming?
This gender disaggregated data is not available for each allied sectors.
Okay. It is related to your
Yes,
PhD,
sir.
or?
It is part of my ARS training program. I have done this research study.
Okay. This index, whatever you are constructed, and how it can be used for further, who can use for this index, what you constructed for this one, yeah, this study?
Sir, when we are starting any training program or extension interventions, among, for example, any farmers of any crop or farmers of any region, we can modify or customize this index for that farmers, for example, rice women farmers. We can customize this index and understand in which areas they are lacking empowerment, and accordingly we can plan our extension intervention.
Okay. This study is done in Kerala, if I'm right. Cassava growers in Nagarkoil area, or where you did the study?
It's Kanyakumari district. Headquarters is Nagarkoil.
Maybe Kerala, maybe if you do in the Kerala, it may give different figures. Is it not? Already Kerala, they might be empowered more.
Even this value is even a very good value. Like when we see the empowerment level of women farmers in other countries, this index was implemented by IFPRI in Bangladesh, Uganda, and many African countries. And most of the women there have the empowerment level of around 0.6 and 0.7. But in Kanyakumari itself, it's around 0.8. So I think if we are implementing this in Kerala, it will be around more than 0.85 or around 0.9.
It's a good one. Yeah, it is already maybe other states we may see in other crops where it is less we need to see.
Yeah, this will, I think this index value will change not only based on region, but also based on crops.
Right. Very good. And something very useful tool for gender mainstreaming, and similar type of tools if we are taken and popularized, and so that we can first level, we can get the awareness where really we need to work on and where they really need the empowerment. That will be more useful for the developmental professionals, not only agriculture developmental departments or NGOs or those who are working with the farmers. And very quite interesting study, very useful study. Thank you very much for your presentation.